All right, Jesse on fire. Welcome back to the channel. All right, big night of fights last night, huh? We had the Ultimate Fight Night, UFC, which should have been Chimaev versus Leon Edwards. Very unfortunate that was not on last night. I kept trying to get that out of my mind. It's like, I just want to be excited because Canelo fights tonight. And we have UFC. I don't want to think about how excited I was for the Leon Edwards and Chimaev fight, and it just poisons the whole thing. So I had to consciously get that out of my mind. But it was a great night of fights, man. I think they did great stuff with Anthony Pettis. I think we had some good notable fights. I am going to just kind of breeze over a couple of them and then talk about the main, couple notable fights that are going to have impact going forward. And then I want to talk about Canelo. So real quick, I think that the UFC deserves credit. If you like the content, subscribe so that you hear next time when I upload a video. Ring the bell. I'm about to upload another video about this UFC lawsuit that is gold. One of my best, okay? That's where I really shine. When I talk about the business, I have a really strong video that's also coming out today about the lawsuit and all that stuff. Trust me, just watch it. Anyway, so subscribe, ring the bell, all that stuff. So, Anthony Pettis. I think that they did a great job with Anthony Pettis, okay? Anthony Pettis is one of these guys that's a star. He was on a skid. When they made that Cowboy versus Anthony Pettis fight, I said right then, I was like, that's a great matchup, right? Because you got two stars that are on skids. One of them is at least going to get a win. You got to break people out of the cycle, man. Confidence is everything, okay? And if you've got these guys who are really talented and they go on a skid, whether it's bad luck or a couple, whatever, it's hard to get them going again. So one of these two guys is going to come out with a win, right? Anthony Pettis comes out with a win. And then they're like, okay, let's make sure we get him another win. So they put him on the undercard. If anybody's wondering, why is Anthony Pettis on the undercard? I guarantee you it was to take the pressure off him, give him a fight that he should win, and get him 2 in a row, right? Because he's a commodity that can push the needle. They want him to win, right? So, yeah, I thought it was great. They put him in a really advantageous position to have no pressure, to fight against a guy he should beat, and he did. And he looked great. I mean, he was exciting. That was a great fight. So kudos to UFC and kudos to Anthony Pettis. He says he's going back down to 155. He actually said something really notable. He said the only reason that he was at 170 is he was being lazy and he didn't want to cut the weight and he was out at the club and eating food. I mean, so if that's true and he's got all that stuff out of his life, he might take another run. I don't know. I mean, 155 is obviously a murderer's row down there, although so is 170. So we'll see. Yeah, then you had Tabura over Greg Hardy. I don't really have anything to say about that except that I've always said Greg Hardy was overrated. Then you had Rob Font over Marlon Moraes. That's another guy who's on a skid, Marlon Moraes. Like he had the world by the balls a year ago, and he's hit a tough patch now. I mean, you could almost say he's lost 4 in a row if he lost the Aldo fight. I mean, he lost Triple C. He won against Aldo, kind of, but that was very questionable. Then he got finished by Sandhagen, who I've told you guys is my sleeper pick at 135. I know he got ran through by Aljamain, but that dude, Sandhagen is a monster. And then now he got knocked out by Rob Font, and Rob Font dominated him. 135 is so stacked, it's unbelievable. If you really look at that division, just go to the rankings, it's ridiculous how good 135 is. It's by far the deepest division at UFC. I mean, just straight up. It's amazing how deep that division is. Anyway, that's what I got. Pereira over Chaos Williams. Nothing to say except, Pereira should really fight like that. Doing the flips and stuff is cool. But now when you're fighting against good fighters like Chaos Williams who can kill you with one shot, good. In and out, hard to hit. He's got tremendous power. I don't understand how he makes 170. He looks like a giant in there. But yeah, he looked good. I mean, he's 25-11. What a weird record, man. But yeah, anyway, so we'll see. I'll always watch him fight. There's something about him that, I don't know. I really like Chaos Williams, too. It's like Chaos Williams, I watched him, I want to see him win. For some reason, there's something about him, I want to see him win. And Pereira, I find myself rooting against. And I'm not really sure why. I have no idea why. I just do. And I like flashy fighters. But there's something about him that I'm like, I would love to see someone just knock his block off for some reason. Can't explain it. That is what it is, though. Now, Jose Aldo had a great night, okay? Now, I wanted to talk about this fight because I think Jose Aldo strategically fought a great fight. He needed to win. Okay, let's just put it out there, right? I know people kind of gave him credit for beating Marlon Moraes, but that was a really close fight, and the decision technically didn't go his way. But then he got beat up by Peter Yan, okay? And you got to think about it like this. Jose Aldo used to be the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, right? And he has gone on a streak of getting beaten up, right? Conor took his soul. Holloway beat him up. Like, when Holloway beat him, he beat him up bad. Both times. Like, it's not like he got caught. He got beaten up and broken, right? Peter Yan beat him up and broke him. Okay, so that's like 4 out of his, last 6 fights or something like that he's gotten, like, beaten and broken. Maybe 4 out of 7. Beaten and broken, right? Then he comes to 135. He really needs a win. He looks great, but whatever. Sorry, and then Yan broke him, whatever. But then coming into this fight, he needs this win, right? Like, he really needs this win. The first 2 rounds go 1-1. And then in the 3rd round, he gets a body triangle on Chito super early. Now, I don't know how, like, I've talked to you guys about, I'm not like some super high level jiu-jitsu guy at all, but I do know a little bit, and I do know how to do a triangle. And when you get a body triangle on a person, they're not going anywhere. Okay, they're not going anywhere. So as soon as he got the body triangle on Chito Vera, I was like, that's it. Like, he's just going to ride this out, because why would he not? You know what I mean? Like, literally, like, if you don't know how to do a triangle, basically take your leg like this, take your other leg, and then wrap your knee over your ankle, and then lock your foot in like that. It's literally like that simple. Go put one of your kids in it, man. Like, here is your foot, here is your other leg, wrap it like this, and then use your ankle to lock this cinch in. Okay, that is literally what a body triangle or a triangle is. Okay, and when you put it on one of your kids and feel what the likelihood of your kid ever getting out of that is. It's 0. Okay, once you lock that thing in, it is almost impossible to get out of that unless you're a super high level grappler, right? And so when I saw that, I'm like, okay, so he's a veteran. He needs this win. He's going to ride this out. And that's exactly what he did. He's like, if I get the choke, I get the choke. If I don't, it doesn't matter. I have this fight won. I have him in a defensive position. I have a body lock on him. He's going nowhere, or a body triangle. So congratulations to Jose Aldo. Now let's also talk about what he did, because he called out TJ Dillashaw, which was brilliant. Okay, the Chael Sonnen has convinced me 100% that once you win, your call out is almost as important as your victory, because it's all about who's next, right? What are you going to do next? And Jose Aldo hit a home run with the TJ Dillashaw thing. Like, that is a great call, because that's a big fight. Okay, TJ, very unlikely to come back super strong, given that one of his, so TJ, what would you say TJ's biggest advantages are? He's got great footwork, he's got great boxing, he also has endless cardio, and then he pisses off for EPO. And you're like, wait, so what does EPO do? And it's like, it makes you never get tired. It's like, okay, so I'm sure he wasn't on EPO before then. So like, he's probably gonna not be on EPO now, where he was very likely at least a good number of his previous fights. So anybody coming off, he's had 2 years to reset his system, so it might not be a factor. But 2 years off, you're gonna have a hard time convincing me that that's a good thing. You don't take any damage, but like, it's a long time to be off. So I think the Aldo TJ Dillashaw, I think that fight makes sense. The key is calling out someone where it makes sense, where it's good for your career if you win, and it's a fight that could likely happen. Okay, because I'm going to give you another example of someone doing that after this that just completely blew it. Like the exact opposite. Okay, which is Stephen Thompson. All right, so Jose Aldo, congratulations, great call out, etc. Right, now let's talk about Stephen Thompson. So first, let me give him credit. He looked amazing in the fight. And I was sleeping on Stephen Thompson. I didn't bet against him or anything, but I was sleeping on him because, he got the draw against Tyron Woodley, then he lost to Tyron Woodley, he got a win, then he lost to Anthony Pettis, then he got a win, but like, that's, it's a few not victories out of like 5 fights, so it feels like, maybe he's past his prime, maybe he was overrated, I don't know. And then I watched him fight in this fight, because Neal is dangerous, man. He is super dangerous. But gosh, man, these guys that are like really powerful, dangerous strikers, Stephen Thompson just picks them apart. He's so elusive, man. Like, he's so hard to hit. He's in and out, and the second that you're in range, he's got a straight punch in your face. And it's just really, it's fascinating to watch. It's not fascinating. It's just like, okay, I've said this a million times, right? Imagine me hitting you in the face like this. Just that hard, right? Would that feel good? No. Okay, so getting hit with a shot like this is plenty of deterrent for you, right? And you know that psychologically, right? But when you're fighting, you still throw a mountain of power on your shots where you might not necessarily need them, where precision is actually more important. You just need to make sure that you land, right? And so you don't really, and that's what Stephen Thompson does so well. He just throws these, it's like the second that they're in range, where most guys, they kind of default to, let me cover up and then pick my shot. The second they're in range, he just sticks a punch in their face. And it's like this, they're in range, and then he's out. Or he throws a kick or whatever. And he's just constantly they're so straight, so precise. He's incredibly, incredibly fun to watch. Because, like, he's a master. I mean, he's really excellent at what he does. He's just not, he's not going for a highlight TKO. He's going to just hit you. If you are in range, he's going to put a straight punch in your face instantly. He's very fun to watch. Incredible footwork. Good for him. Now, let's talk about what he did after the fight, because talk about dropping the ball, man. Okay, so like I said, what are we after when you're gonna make your call out? Someone that's gonna be good for your career, and someone that you might, it's likely or at least possible that you're gonna get the fight from. Because when you call out someone and you don't get the fight, it just makes you look powerless, right? Chael has talked about this. It's 100% true. So first thing that Stephen Thompson says is he says, I'm coming after that title in 2021. No. Okay, first of all, so right out of the gate, everybody knows that's not true. So credibility already, like, whoa, wait, what? Okay, you just got a title shot a few fights ago, and 2 title shots, and you didn't win. Okay, like, that's not how that works. You just, like, so you're not going to get a title shot in 2021 just based on how recently you got a title shot and weren't successful. But then on top of that, you have Kamaru Usman, Colby Covington, George Masvidal, comes at Chimaev, Leon Edwards. Tell me a scenario where Wonderboy Thompson gets a title shot in 2021. Okay, I'm not saying he can never get another title shot, but 2021 is what he said. Impossible. There's no possible way that he's getting a title shot in 2021. That's just not going to happen. Okay, so right there, you already made a claim that is impossible. Then they're like, so who do you want to fight? And he's like, I think we should do the BMF versus the NMF. Nicest motherfucker. Like, they gave him the NMF belt. And I was like, wait. Is he calling out George Masvidal? Tell me he's not calling out George Masvidal. And then he confirmed he's calling out George Masvidal. I was like, good God, man. That is, you may as well call out Dana White. Like, I want Dana White to finally lace up the gloves and get in the octagon, and I want to be the one to welcome him, okay? Like, you're not fighting George Masvidal. You are not fighting George Masvidal, okay? That is, whoever told him to call out George Masvidal, out of their mind, okay? You already beat George Masvidal, okay? Like, guys like Conor, guys like George Masvidal, okay, they're not the only way that they get in the octagon with people that the UFC thinks is likely to beat them, okay, is if it's in a massive fight, okay? They either fight in fights that the UFC thinks that they'll win, or in fights that are so massive that it doesn't matter what the outcome is, okay? So like title shots, or like, Colby versus Masvidal, or Conor versus Masvidal, okay? That's why Conor's fighting, Cowboy, and then he's fighting Dustin Poirier, okay? They need to protect these guys so that they can do the big fights with them. Okay, there are only a handful of guys that are as big as them. I'm talking like 4, right? Guys that are maybe not even 4, but like you got Masvidal, you got Conor, you got Colby. Colby's kind of not even really quite there yet. Or maybe he is actually. I think you got Nate Diaz. Okay, Nate Diaz is kind of an anomaly, but there is no way that they're putting Masvidal in there with a guy who already beat him, who's a terrible matchup. And is not like a massive, not a massive gate or massive pay-per-view fight. There's no way. You have no chance of fighting Masvidal. 0. Absolutely none. There's no way they make that fight. None. This is the thing. Like, I know how the UFC thinks, okay? Like, I know how it's this simple, okay? Masvidal, great striker. So we're going to put him in there with people that he has an advantage striking against, okay? They're not going to put him in there with someone who has an advantage against him in striking, because how's he going to win? Okay, it's a terrible matchup for Masvidal. Terrible. Okay? I'm not saying Masvidal can't win. I'm just saying that's a bad matchup for him. There's no way it happens. Okay? Anyway, but good for Stephen Thompson. The more important thing is that he fought well and he fought incredible. So let's talk about Canelo Alvarez, because the most fun I had watching fights last night was actually watching Canelo Alvarez, because god damn, he is a monster, man. So he's fighting last night at 168 against this guy Smith, who is he's 27-0, and he's the title holder at 168. Now, keep in mind, Canelo Alvarez fought Floyd Mayweather. Okay, do you understand how small Floyd Mayweather is? And now he's fighting at 168. This guy who was fighting last night was huge compared to him. It looked like one of those freak show matches. I mean, honestly, like, that's how much bigger this guy was than Canelo. It was like one of those old Pride matches where you're like, wait, do they not have weight classes anymore? Like, seriously, like, that's how much bigger he looked than him. And Canelo just battered him. I mean, battered him. And it's amazing how Canelo uses the whole fight to break a guy down. You know, like, you know, there are some guys who are going out and they're trying to put you in the dirt, but like they're always trying to put you in the dirt. There's no methodology to a multi-round fight where they're like, I'm going to break him down in this round and then I'm going to go after him later. It's like with Canelo, he early on, he's like, I'm going to frustrate him. I'm going to beat up his body. I'm going to make him realize that he can't hit me. I'm going to humiliate him on my feet. Then I'm going to start hitting him. Then I'm going to start picking my shots. I'm going to start landing. And then in the later rounds when he's a little bit tired, I'm going to start battering him. And that's exactly what he did. Just broke him down, man. Like just broke him down. And then by the most impressive thing, God, I mean, his power. He has so much power. Like when he's hitting, like when he makes contact, it's just like boom. It's just so loud. It's so loud. It's so fun to watch. But in the last, check this out, the most impressive thing, between the 11th and 12th round, okay, Canelo never sat down, okay? The other guy is on his stool just like, he's just beaten to shit. Canelo didn't even sit down. He's walking around in his corner like, you know, water. He's like, yeah, and they're like, go finish him. He's like, yeah. Canelo's trying to finish him the whole time. I mean, the guy was a warrior. If that fight goes 15 rounds, he's not getting out of there. There's no way. But credit to Smith, he didn't start trying to tie Canelo up until the 12th round. Like he took it like a man until the 12th, you know. And then in the 12th, he finally started trying to grab Canelo because he was just like, oh my God, I can't take it anymore. But he made it to the end. And but Canelo is so fun to watch, man. He is so fun to watch. I love it. I love it. I wish there were other good boxers to watch him fight against because, man, he's good. He is so good. Anytime that I hear he's on, I'll watch because he is the one boxer that's like really incredibly fun to watch. Maybe he should fight Jake Paul and decapitate him. That'd be cool. Anyway, that's what I got. Subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell. Peace.